Hello, Sebastian.
Hello.
Can you-
That was a lot of fun seeing that magician.
Yeah. 11:58. That was a strange one.
Yeah, it was weird that he could make that happen. So, but crazy guy.
The thing with Tom Cruise is that he showed me the card, and obviously he would see that video feed right in his screen. Yeah, but the one with the numbers was strange.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome, Sebastian. We're gonna have a little bit have a discussion around a project that you have been part of. So first of all, I'm Marcus. I'm CTO at Orange Cyber Defense in Nordics. And who are you, Sebastian?
Yes, my name is of course Sebastian, and I'm an IT architect at Danish school, where it's a Danish school. It's a trade college, and we decided back in 2007, I think, decided to do some joint IT operations between different schools. So that's basically where we are today, joint IT operations. So we are pretty much hosting other schools, I guess you could say. We're actually fairly big. We have 14 schools in total, and close to 4,000 employees across these schools, and close to must be 30,000 students. So we're fairly big, all in all, in Danish standards as well, of course.
Yeah, absolutely. So I assume that there has been some discussions around video conference systems the last year, right?
Yes, it's taking up most of the time for the IT personnel is regarding conferencing, Teams and Zoom and so on. So
okay. Yeah. But so when in time did you start to discuss micro-segmentation and this project that we're going to talk about now? Was that before the COVID pandemic?
Yes, it was before.
Okay.
We were, we could see a rise and the threat level globally, and we had some, cases or incidents where we had systems compromised. And one thing we saw was that once an attacker was in, he could move fairly easily between other systems as well, and was really hard for us to see what happened and what then went on when somebody entered our systems. So it was top of our priorities, amongst others, but micro-segmentation was definitely one of them, to gain more visibility and to know what's going on, and of course avoid letting people in the first time.
Yeah, I can see that. I met one of the networking guys at one of the universities in Sweden a couple of years ago, and he said that the purpose to why they had a firewall was to protect internet from their students. Is that?
That sounds about right. Yeah, we do have a lot of smart students that don't really care about what they're allowed to and what's not. So it's yeah.
And they're also bringing their own devices, right?
Yes, we have a lot of bring your own devices. It's starting to be the majority of our computers are bring your own today. So the classroom PCs are getting, they're going away, the classroom PCs. So bring your own computers that we do not control or do not have any admin rights to. So it's
and then
new world.
Then a lot of digital systems for the teachers to use and for the students to use to do the work.
Yes.
And bring your own device, internet. It sounds like the perfect storm, to be honest.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the past, we've seen students being, a bit too curious about, grading, changing their grades and accessing things they're not supposed to. So it's, we've seen all of it pretty much.
So when you started to think about micro-segmentations, what other, what options did you look at?
We are, we are a VMware house. For our data center runs on VMware. So of course we looked to VMware to start with. We looked at their NSX platform, and even though it looked good, it was just was a bit of a mess. We had some in-house servers installed that should be doing inventory and just show us the flows going through our data center, and it was just confusing to look at. And besides that, we were looking at, where we're going to be cloud-wise within the next 3 to 5 years. So we wanted a system that as well could scale to the cloud. And VMware did have some things going on at the time, but it wasn't really a good fit for that. It was more if we kept everything in-house, then VMware NSX could have solved the problem, even though it wasn't really that easy when looking at the different options we had for management. And we also looked at Illumio, looked good as well, but they weren't really interested in a customer like us. I think we were too small compared to other companies in the US, for example. So even though we did talk a lot with Illumio, we just had a lot of emails going back and forth, but we could never agree on moving forward. And so those were basically the two players we looked at the time. This here must have been running Guardicore for 2 years now, I think. So this here was 3 years ago, I would say. And then we looked at Guardicore, and that was a totally different vendor to talk to. Much more open, much more friendly, and just not that VMware and Illumio wasn't friendly. It was just there was a different gut feeling talking to these guys. And at the same time, of course, looking at Centra, it was just everything was much easier. I hope most of you guys have seen Centra, because it's actually what's been presented earlier today is Centra, the whole graphical interface where you can see the flows. And it's just so much easier than whatever else we saw.
Yeah. So I'm a little bit curious. How much cloud are you running through? Is it Azure? Is it?
We do use Azure. Yeah, we do have some cloud services running in Azure, but its majority is running in-house still. So
okay.
But it is, more and more services are tending to be hosted in cloud. So it's definitely a place where we want to be able to protect our servers and systems.
Okay.
In the future.
So yeah. How did you many times when we present this technology to customers, it's always you need to chop up the elephant.
Yeah.
You need to start somewhere. What is your advice? How did you do to start?
How we started the deployment of the Guardicore?
Well, we can start with the testing phase. I assume that you didn't buy this technology. It was really early days.
Yes. Of course, we did a POC where we deployed the agent onto a handful of servers, and going from there to 20 to 50 to 100, and just it was just it didn't really take that much deployment. It was just an easy push of the agent using a deployment system, and then we started seeing the traffic flows and could see what was going on. Things we couldn't do before, we could actually see now. So once we did the POC, it actually pretty quickly evolved into becoming more a talk about purchasing then, because all the technical things checked off really quickly. It definitely looked like so it could do the job. And Guardicore was so nice to have a guy flown up here to Denmark and did a 3-day session with us where we just went over the system and how we could use the API to feed it with other data and pull data out of it. And it's just a really good POC that basically just went into production really, really quickly. So it's a lot easier to get started on this than you would think. So
yeah, because that is one of the concerns that we often hear is not one more agent.
Yeah, it's of course agent based, but that's also a big benefit of the system, that we can deploy this agent on any machine. So I had it on my own workstation for a while. I did wipe my machine not that long ago, and it didn't get back on, but it's probably going to come back on again, so I can see everything that's going on and can do rules based on that. So it's I think it's of course not, and it is another agent, of course, but it's very lightweight. We didn't really see any performance impact on any of our servers. They told that it would be 2-3% CPU, a bit of memory, and that's basically all we saw. It wasn't something that we really thought of as now we slowed everything down. So I don't mind it's there. It's good.
Yeah, I think that, as you said, it's also the upside of the solution, right?
Yeah.
What type of integrations have you been doing, into or out of Guardicore?
Integration wise, it's so far it's just been with our VMware. We've been doing some some setting up some API things, just checking if things are deployed with what's in VMware, what's on the physical servers. That's basically the integrations we've done. Of course, we've micro-segmented the schools from each other, if that's what you meant.
Yeah, no, because you said that you were looking at the APIs and
yes.
the capabilities of those. I mean, one question that probably that you want to be in control of is that, do we have Guardicore deployed on all the machines?
Yes, that's what we use it for, of course. We, pull out reports of what agents do we have in Guardicore and compare it to other inventory jobs we have, and if there's something missing, we'll shoot and open a support ticket in our help desk system with these servers are missing an agent, and then we'll take care of that. It is a place where we could improve a more 100% automated deployment, but today it's more of a this one here, the Guardicore agent isn't there. Somebody could basically have uninstalled it or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, if you take one step back and you think about what was the biggest outcome, the biggest benefit of actually getting here, because it was I assume it was still, even if you say it was quite simple to get it deployed, I know a micro-segmentation project is still a big challenge.
It is.
So, so what was the biggest outcome?
That we got the schools segmented from each other. We do have one big data center where we tried to do access control lists, but it wasn't really working for us. So now we can say, these schools are running in the same environment, but are still separate. So when, I'm not going to say if, I'm going to say when one of the schools are breached somehow, we'll limit it to that school at least. So, and hopefully we can contain it even more just by having it segmented on an application basis more. So yeah, it before this here, a user from school A could access systems on school B if the access wasn't set up correctly, and that's not happening anymore. Today it's just blocked. So that's the biggest benefit for us.
Yeah.
I'd say.
So have you? I mean, one good thing is that it's not uncommon that we still use very traditional firewalls, meaning IP and port.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but with Guardicore, we also get the ability to actually go down or all the way up to the process level. Is that something that you have been using?
Yes, we have. We use it a lot as threat hunting. If we see something in our antivirus solution, we'll double check it in Guardicore as well to see if what went on, what's happening on a per process level. We'll check things. So it's definitely in the toolbox. It's open pretty much every day together with our antivirus solution, so we can check these things against each other, see what's going on. Yeah, it's been really helpful for visibility and threat hunting.
Interesting. So we are, more or less, running out of time. I'm just curious, is there anything else that you would like to add from an outcome basis, or or overall in general of the project?
Yeah, it's what would I like to add? Yes, probably that this here isn't something I wouldn't like to be without today. It's made a step forward, and I'm not seeing us going back to not having this here in the future. It's right up there with patch management and privilege management and antivirus. It's really a needed tool for us to make sure that all the classes can be taught, and everything is running as smoothly as it can.
Okay. Thank you, Sebastian. Really, really thank you.
Yeah.
And now we're going to move over to the panel discussion. Thanks again.
Yeah, thank you.